Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this weekend, Canelo Alvarez defends his undisputed super middleweight titles against Jermell Charlo. Of course, Jermell Charlo is moving up 2 weight classes. Jermell Charlo himself is the undisputed at 154. Now, undisputed versus undisputed sounds great on paper. An occurrence that is super rare in the sport of boxing. However, I've noticed a lack of excitement for this fight. From what I've been seeing online, it feels like nobody is talking about it. Especially considering who's involved. You know, Canelo Alvarez is one of the biggest names in boxing. And when you combine that with undisputed versus undisputed, an occurrence that is so rare in boxing, it's interesting that there's no buzz for this fight. I've not seen it. Maybe I've been looking in the wrong places. Maybe now it's fight week, things start to pick up. But I do wonder whether people see this fight how I'm seeing it. I'm just struggling to see the point in it. You know, 2 weight classes between these guys. Yeah, you can sell it as undisputed versus undisputed, but I think people intrinsically know. Whether they can try and dress it up how they want, but people know Jermell Charlo is not a viable threat for Canelo Alvarez at 168. It's just that simple. Before this fight was signed, nobody was talking about it. Nobody was listing Jermell Charlo as a potential Canelo Alvarez opponent. Plus, you look at what he's done at 154, and listen, credit to him, he's undisputed. So he's gone through a run. However, he's not been dominant. Let's just be honest about it here. He's not been dominant. It's not like he's gone through some historic reign at 154 akin to a guy like Terry Norris. Or, Mike McCallum. Somebody like that. No. Listen, he's fought some decent guys, but he's had his ups and downs. Lost to Tony Harrison, who is a talented boxer, no doubt, but a very flawed fighter. We know the route to beat Tony Harrison. He lost to Brian Castano, as far as I'm concerned, in their first fight. Got out-hustled, got out-worked by the smaller man. And yeah, he made it right in the rematch, but we've seen chinks in the armour of Jermell Charlo at 154. It's not like he's dominated from start to finish. Even in fights in which he won cleanly against the likes of John Jackson, he was losing so many rounds in that fight. Jermell Charlo is a good champion who happens to be undisputed in a weight class that has been devoid of a lot of top fighters for a long time. That's the reality. And that's what makes me laugh when people say, oh, Jermell Charlo's undisputed, therefore he has to be pound for pound. I don't see the resume there for a pound for pound fighter, and if he was a pound for pound fighter, if he was a pound for pound level talent, he wouldn't have had the hiccups that he's had at 154. I don't think any pound for pound level fighter should be losing to Tony Harrison. To be honest with you. You know, I don't think a pound for pound level fighter should be losing to a guy who you've got 20 pounds on in Brian Castano. Jermell Charlo's a good fighter. I think he's done well. I like that he tries to mix his style up. Sometimes he'll try and move a little bit and box. Sometimes he switches to being a boxer-puncher. Sometimes he'll get aggressive and trade. I like Jermell Charlo, but if this is what a pound-for-pound fighter is in 2023, then I think the standards have truly dropped. He's a good fighter who's done well at 54. That's it. He's not separated himself truly from the pack. In my opinion, just looking at his title run, you can have all the belts, but it's also about how you got those belts. And now going up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez, I don't see him translating that to 68 and then coming up with a game plan to beat Canelo Alvarez. Although I believe Canelo is on the slide, I don't see Jermell Charlo having enough to win this fight. First and foremost for weight. Now a lot of people are saying, well, Jermell Charlo's actually bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, cool, he is in terms of height and reach, I get it. but he's never carried that sort of weight in a prize fight. He's never fought at 168 in a prize fight under the lights. Jermell Charlo's a guy who is quick off the draw. He's got good reactions. He's very explosive in his movements. You know, he tries to generate power and speed behind his shots, things like that. He's a very athletic fighter. And that's partly been why he has had success at 54. You know, he's had the size on guys, he's had power, strength, etc. But those attributes going to 168 could be greatly diminished. Again, he's never carried that sort of weight in a prize fight, in a high-pressure prize fight, especially against a guy like Canelo who can make you miss, who can make you fall short, who can dig that body. I wonder how Jermell Charlo carries this extra weight in this fight. I wonder whether it affects his speed, whether it affects the amount of punches he throws, whether it affects his stamina. I could see a scenario where when Jermell Charlo is actually fresh early on, I could actually see him having success against Canelo, making a fight of it, so to speak. I've got a feeling that he's going to gas a lot quicker than we are expecting in this fight. And I think you could see a scenario where maybe the first half is competitive, but in the second half I could see Canelo taking over, you know, picking his shots better, targeting the body, things like that, and slowly kind of breaking down Jermell Charlo's, slowing those legs down kind of thing. And also, listen, it's a free fight deal Canelo signed with the PBC, and we know the deal with Canelo fights. Let's be real here. We know the deal. There's been certain fights with weird circumstances surrounding them. There's been numerous fights where Canelo has had way too much credit from judges, etc. I can't see Jermell Charlo getting that rub of the green against Canelo. Let's say Jermell Charlo performs out of his skin, and you know, maybe most fans think he wins 7-5. He's not getting that decision. Canelo has signed a free fight deal. There's 2 fights on the contract after this fight, and you would imagine PBC want to maximise that. And I don't think Jermell Charlo winning necessarily does that, especially when you've got a fight there with a guy like David Benavidez, for example, and that fight would greatly appeal to the Hispanic audience. If they're going to pull a fast one on Canelo, it wouldn't be, in my opinion, in the Jermell Charlo fight. So combine like history with Canelo fights, with judging, etc. Jermell Charlo moving up 2 weight classes, carrying weight he's never carried before in a prize fight, a high pressure prize fight. Plus the fact, let's be honest, like I was saying earlier, Jermell's a good fighter, but he's not a pound for pound level talent. I don't see pound for pound level skill with Jermell Charlo. And I think you need that in this scenario when you're moving up 2 weight classes. Again, I appreciate he's taller and longer than Canelo, but it's not like Canelo is small in terms of weight, you know? I don't think Jermell Charlo has what it takes to win this fight. Despite Canelo, in my opinion, being on the slide, I think Canelo is slowing down. But regardless of that, I still don't see Jermell Charlo having enough. I don't see him having enough. And I think a lot of people intrinsically know that, hence why there's no real buzz for it. You would think, right, Undisputed versus Undisputed, featuring one of the biggest draws in boxing, you would think that fight would generate a lot of excitement. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm reading it wrong. I've just not really seen it on YouTube or Twitter or social media. I've not seen anybody talking about this fight. And really, I just think people, they know what the deal is with this fight. I think they know what the deal is. But yeah, listen, maybe Jermell Charlo surprises me. Maybe he carries the weight better than I'm expecting. Maybe he performs better than I'm expecting. Maybe Canelo is further on the slide than I'm expecting, or that I think, sorry. So, we'll see, man. We'll see, but yeah, I see Canelo winning this fight. I see Jermell Charlo being lively early on, first 3, 4, maybe even 5 rounds. I think after that you'll see Canelo start to take over. and either win this fight wide on points or maybe even secure a late stoppage. Another thing as well actually, I think another reason for the lack of excitement, and I've noticed this in a few of Canelo's last few fights, probably post Caleb Plant, I think a lot of people intrinsically know that after a Canelo Alvarez fight, there's a very high likelihood that you're going to be left shortchanged. If you're just a regular boxing fan, you're not really rooting for either guy, you just want a good fight, chances are you'll feel shortchanged, if you catch my drift. Anyway, share your thoughts below. What do you think of this fight? Do you give Jermell Charlo any chance whatsoever? Or like me, do you believe that the writing is on the wall? Share your thoughts below. Peace.